Hello, everybody. Good evening. I guess first of all, I wanted to say thank you, Layani and Andrea, for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about my professional career. Um, I have been working for a multinational company for the last 12 years. Many of you may know it. It's ExxonMobil. Its headquarters is based in Houston, um, Texas. Um, but I've been working for that company from Curitiba. There is a business support center of different departments that is based in Brazil, and we provide global services to the whole company. So here in our business support center, we have about 3 or 5 different functions. We have a little bit of law. We also have um, accountables and payables. We have procurement, and we have IT. Um, However, working for ExxonMobil was not my first job. So let me talk a little bit about that before I dive into my current role today. So my first job was English teacher. When I came back home from my mission and I served my mission in Boston, my first job was to teach English to teenagers. It was a really good experience because it helped me understand more of the grammar and the rules um, of the English language. But I didn't spend too much time being an English teacher. After that, I was hired to be a salesman, and I used to sell fitness equipment. I don't know how many of you know of those little stands that usually are set up in the shopping malls where people, are just on those equipments. Like it can be a bicycle, it can be weightlifting. I was the one, up on those equipments trying to sell them to people. So that was my first job after I had been married. I started out this job in Salvador, and then when I got married, I moved to Maceió, and I stayed with this company for about 3 years. Then I was finally hired to work for ExxonMobil. My first job for ExxonMobil was to be a contract analyst. I was there to read contracts and to understand license transferability. At that time, the ExxonMobil branch in Brazil was being sold, and I was to advise if the software licenses that were used by ESSO Brasileira was going to remain with ExxonMobil or going to be transferred to the buyer. So that was my first job, and I did this for about 5 months, and I was a contractor to ExxonMobil at that time. After the project was over, then I was hired to work as a full-time employee. And like I said, I've been in ExxonMobil for about 12 years. So I have 12 years of experience in a global IT organization. I have held different roles within ExxonMobil. In ExxonMobil, you're not hired to be in one role for your entire career. Every 3 or 5 years, you always move into a different job. Of course, they're all within your area of expertise, but you don't stay for too long in the same role. So my first role after being hired to work for ExxonMobil was to work as a software asset management analyst. Basically, I was part of help desk. So whenever you needed to use Photoshop, instead of going to the internet and downloading Photoshop on your computer, you had to submit a request to the IT services to buy the license for you. So I was the analyst behind the IT services portal that was going to either buy a license or grant you access to something. So that's what I did for about 3 years. That was my first assignment. Then I was moved to a different position where I became the team lead for that group. So instead of processing requests, I was actually responsible to make sure that the team had all the information to be successful. So I was more responsible for the team and for the results of the team than processing requests. So I was the team lead for that small group for about 3 years. Then I moved to a different role. As I was moved to a role to be a planner. So basically, I worked the budget of the group. So within IT, I was part of a specific group for infrastructure of IT, and I was responsible to manage the budget for that team. So I knew how many bills we had to pay, how many money we have to spend, how much money we have to spend, and how much money we have for travel. So basically, I provided that information to management to make the decisions on how to use the money. I did a little bit of project management as well, and also vendor management. So interacting with different vendors such as Adobe, Microsoft, um, I don't want to draw a blank right now, AutoCAD, and so many other vendors around the globe. We had a contract with them, and on a quarterly basis, we always had a meeting to evaluate their services and if they were meeting all the expectations that we had for them. Um, I was in that role for about 5 years, and then I moved to the current role that I have today, which is release train engineer. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the SAFe um, framework or the Agile framework, but I was assigned to be a release train engineer, which is basically a coach for transforming teams into Agile. So basically, we are moving away from the waterfall approach of project management to do Agile way. Basically, we deliver our product or our services in increment. We don't necessarily wait for the whole project to be done to be able to communicate that to the customer. We provide small increments of that product that the customer can already use. We have ceremonies where the teams are, getting together to discuss what they're going to be working for the next 2 weeks or for the next month, and they set goals for that. And so I am the one, working with 9 different teams to make sure that they have the necessary guidance, make sure that they know the strategy of the company, and what we're trying to achieve. Basically, to give them direction, to help them know how they can leverage the different agile ceremonies to be successful. So I've been doing this role for the past 2 years. Um, I am bald, but I'm not really that old. So I don't have a very long career yet. But I am planning to continue to be in ExxonMobil for as long as I can, and to stay in that course. So that's a little bit about my career. I hope that was helpful. I do have a LinkedIn profile, so if you want to look me up, it's Thiago Souza, comma RTE. You should be able to find me. Hopefully that was helpful to you, and I wish you guys have a great rest of the gathering group. Thank you, and have a good night. Bye bye.